Now, Donald Trump said what a lot of people have been thinking when it comes to Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis.
I think it's very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. I just had my physical. You saw that. You saw the results of that particular test. I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical.
And of course, I wish President Biden well. You wouldn't wish cancer on anyone. But it's a good question. I mean, surely Biden had access to the best possible medical treatment any US citizen could have, but his prostate cancer was only discovered when it had metastasized into the bone. Now, Biden's office responded today saying he hadn't had a screening for prostate cancer since 2014. And I know screening isn't always recommended for men over 70, but I just don't know how that makes anything better. I mean, it's a blood test. It's so easy. And you're the President of the United States. You'd think you'd bother to get tested. Donald Trump does. I mean, did Biden say that he didn't want the test, or did his doctor decide not to do it without discussing it with him? It's all very odd. The doctor, Kevin O'Connor, Biden's doctor, hasn't answered any questions, by the way. And the question I want answered, and I haven't really seen anyone give an answer this week, is how long do you need to have prostate cancer before it becomes a stage 4 cancer moving into the bone? How long might have Joe Biden had this? Well, for an expert medical opinion, I'm joined now by urologist and clinical director with the Australian Prostate Centre, Dr Phil Dundee. Dr Dundee, the most pressing point here is that Biden was out of the White House for 4 months. He was given a clean bill of health in his time as president. Now he has stage 4 prostate cancer. Now, you're a doctor, you're not a political commentator, so I'm not going to get into the politics of it with you. I can do that myself later. But strictly medically speaking, is this something that could have conceivably happened in just 4 months?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're talking about the diagnosis being made or whether the disease has been present for 4 months. So it's almost certain that this process has been going on for at least 10 years. But it is possible that he has been unaware of the diagnosis until he had the requisite testing. So I think you mentioned about the guidelines of testing, and I think that's where really the failure has been. I understand that he last had a test in 2014 and he would have been 71 or 72 at that stage. Unfortunately, the US as well as Australia recommend against screening for prostate cancer for men in their 70s. And that's why this situation has been able to occur. So had he had ongoing testing through his 70s, almost certainly this would have been picked up at a much earlier stage and possibly at a curable stage, and he wouldn't be facing this situation now. So I think this is really quite a disaster.
Well, how early might you have picked something up? And if you're saying this is a process that can take up to 10 years to get to, I mean, potentially this would have been picked up before he'd even run for president.
Yeah, that's right. And ideally, we like to pick up prostate cancer before it becomes symptomatic, almost universally. Once prostate cancer becomes symptomatic, and I understand that President Biden had some urinary symptoms, and that is a sign of late-stage prostate cancer. Now, I want to reassure any men, any of your viewers out there who have urinary symptoms, they are very common. They are almost never related to prostate cancer, but it does pose a good opportunity for men to see their primary care provider and be tested for prostate cancer. But if he has urinary symptoms that are because of prostate cancer, he already has late-stage disease, and that's why we recommend staging. So staging is a simple blood test. We can pick up prostate cancer when it's confined to the prostate, and in almost all cases we can cure men before it escapes, as long as we are able to detect it early, and we can only do that with the blood test.
Just quickly, why would you not test after 70? I know that seems to be the recommendation. I mean, if you're the President of the United States, it's there. I don't know why you wouldn't take it, but why would you not test after 70?
Yeah, I would strongly disagree with those recommendations. And we look at what's called lead time in prostate cancer, where when we detect the prostate cancer on a screening test, we pick it up typically around about 10 years before it becomes symptomatic. And so the recommendations have been that men in their 70s don't require prostate cancer screening because they are likely to die of other causes before they develop symptomatic prostate cancer. And that is just not true of many men in their 70s. In fact, if you look at the statistics for men in their 70s in Australia, life expectancy does not drop below 10 years until men reach the age of 79. So not only should they be screened in their 70s, they should be screened right through their 70s and even into their 80s in some cases, because we have an expanding life expectancy, many men living into their late 80s, early 90s, and even to 100. And this is the kind of situation that we're faced with when men don't have screening. So this is a preventable problem, and it absolutely should have been prevented.
You've been a great help, Dr. Phil Dundee. Thank you. I mean, there you go. 10 years that could have taken, and either they didn't test or they didn't know. I mean, it just seems insane.